Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that there is a simple, easy, fast way to determine if a person is a relationship material or not? If they are marriage ready or marriage reluctant? If they are into getting into the whatever the next relationship is, or if they're extremely selective and like to take their time. This is something that the chart can show us. Better yet, there is a software that can show you that in 5 seconds. So let's dive in and find out how to know if you or your partner or your client is relationship ready or relationship reluctant. Here we go. So, which is it? Now, this is not one or the other. It's not binary as the slide might suggest. It's not black or white. It is actually a gradient, right, from extremely reluctant to extremely relationship inclined. So let's see how it works in Vedic astrology. Very simple way to gauge this is to consider the influence on the first house and its lord, seventh house and its lord, and Venus of the planets Saturn and Mercury. Now, in Western astrology, the term for Saturn and Mercury, or even in Vedic, the translation is that they are eunuch planets. That is not true. They are not eunuchs. They are, the word in Sanskrit for both of them is na pumsaka. Na means not, pum means man, meaning they are not of adult breeding age. Okay. Mercury is a very young boy. Saturn is a very old man. So they are out of season of breeding or relationship, marriage, time, right? It is not, they're gone. It's one is an 89-year-old man. One is an 8-9-year-old boy. Okay. That is how they're pictured. However, if those two planets play heavily on your first house, seventh house, first lord, seventh lord, or Venus, it will seem as if you are a quote unquote eunuch. Now, thousands of years ago, there wasn't any woke vocabulary. So they used the word napumsaka, meaning not manly or not in mating season. But of course, it applied to women and men alike. It was to be inferred. So don't use the term eunuch because that means something else. That's usually a person who is snipped for whatever reason, either in Italian, they're castrati or whatever, right? That's not what it is. What it is that you are out of season. And if you have Mercury and Saturn heavily influencing your chart, it may seem to you, even during your adult years, that, or it may seem to others, that you're out of season, that there is this, what we would call marriage reluctance or even relationship reluctance. Doesn't mean you don't enjoy relationships or even sex or whatever, dating. It's just that you are more cautious. Okay. Now, the flip side of that is the influences of Venus and Moon on these factors show marriage inclination. Okay. And the final step is consider sambandhas of houses 1 and 7. That is any connection of houses 1 and 7 in the chart for marriage inclination, and sambandhas, that is connections between houses 6, 8, and 12 for marriage reluctance. Okay, so I've given you 4 rules. Simon, you said this is going to be very simple. Now you've all these terms and what's a trikasthana and so forth. Well, the good news is you don't have to do this alone. And I'm going to show you an example chart here. We have taken the time to program this into our Dilanu app. So here's a chart of a famous, or used to be famous in the 80s, 90s, I guess they're still famous, couple who have been together forever, but they never married. This is Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. And I'm going to remove my face here for a second. And if you notice, if you go to the timing section and you scroll down, you will notice this is a new bonus section in Dilanu that has what we call marriage inclination and marriage misgivings. So here's how to work it. Okay. By the way, we'll be talking about this and every metric in Dilanu and how to really use it to judge relationships in our 2025 Dilanu professional training. I'll tell you more about that in a second. All right. So marriage inclination for Goldie Hawn, as you can see, never mind the categories. I'll explain what those are in the course. For now, you just add up these points and you see it's only 1.25 points. That's very low. Even though it says average, this is pretty low marriage inclination. And also Kurt has pretty low marriage inclination. A high score would be something like, above 5, 6, 7, 8 points. So they match each other in this way. Now, this doesn't mean they're necessarily compatible. You also have to go to, other metrics to see how they get along. And they have massive friendship combos. Wow, geez. Anyway, but you would want to take, this is sort of the icing on the cake, that are the two people similarly minded. In this case, they are. Now let's take a look at the marriage misgivings. Goldie Hawn's are rather high, and Kurt's are particularly high. His is over 5 points. Hers is 3.5 points. So they both, in this case, both partners would agree that, hey, maybe not getting married is the better option because they both have high marriage misgivings. Now, what about a couple where one has high misgivings, one has low misgivings? Or let's say one has high marriage misgivings, the other has high marriage inclination. Aha. Well, then you know which person is going to initiate the talk of relationship. It's going to be the person with the very high marriage inclination score. The person with the high misgiving score is going to be the one sort of backing away. Okay, so this is a very simple, very easy, and you could see in the course of 10 seconds you can get an idea of who is going to be the instigator. I just talked to a couple and I saw that she had higher score, and so I asked him who made the first move, and he said she did. She had the higher marriage inclination score. And so this tends to play out. If you are interested in doing our Dilanu professional certification course, let me show you what that will get you. Okay, you can go to decodingvedicwisdom.com, Dilanu Professional Certification 2025. I do not have a long description here. But there is a heck of a lot that goes into this class, and it is a soup to nuts. You go from knowing zero to knowing as much as possible about matching, compatibility, and working with couples, whether they're single or already in a relationship. Among the things you get also are your own profile page on our international compatibility experts site, that is divinelovematch.com, and you can put your profile, your calendar, so people can book with you anytime. This is part of what you get with the Dilanu professional training. And if you have any questions, let me know below. I'll be happy to answer them about this technique in particular, or anything else. Okay, Hari Om. See you in the next one. Namaste, everyone.